Welcome to Deep or Nothing with Miss Daisy O, a podcast where we explore the art of deep thinking. Join me as we dive into thought-provoking conversations that challenge the surface and uncover the profound truths that shape our lives. Let's go deep, or not at all.
So I've had a very insightful week because I've had occurrences that I've had to learn from a lot this week, and I'm so buzzed being on this episode today. So yeah, welcome back to Deep or Nothing with Miss Daisy O. And I hope that you've been diving into those deep thoughts we've been exploring together. We've had 5 episodes where we've had to discuss so many deep issues, and I'm really elated at how we're growing together and how we're continuing on this journey of deep thinking. On today's episode, we're delving into something I think all of us can relate to, especially in this fast-paced, emotion-driven world. And I seriously hope that you're not in denial to the fact that our emotions are drivers of our actions. So the topic for today's episode is the role of emotions in shaping our perceptions. Think about it. How much of what you see and experience is truly objective? How much of it is colored by how you're feeling at that moment? It's fascinating to consider how emotions can cloud or even enhance our understanding of the world. Now, as always, this is about peeling back layers. We're going deep, but we're also going to keep it practical and relatable, because emotions, whether we like them or not, play a big part in how we navigate our daily lives. Let's start with the basics. What do you mean, or what do we mean, when we say that emotions shape our perceptions? Imagine walking down a busy Lagos street after getting some really good news. Everything seems brighter, right? The chaos of traffic feels like background noise. The heat is just a minor inconvenience. But on a day when things haven't gone so well, when you're feeling down, that same street looks entirely different. The horns are louder, the heat is unbearable, and every small thing becomes an irritation. This is what we're talking about when we say that our emotions shape the way we perceive the world. Our emotions, whether joy, anger, sadness, or frustration, act like filters through which we see and interpret reality. The judgment of people around us also is very dependent on our emotions. I will make reference to the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, where he talked about biases. And he mentioned how he gave an example of when you have, say, a handsome and confident speaker bounding onto the stage, for example. He says you can anticipate that the audience will judge his comments more favorable than he deserves. So if he were to make an error or he makes a blunder, so to say, it's expected, or we can anticipate that the audience will judge his comment more favorable than he actually deserves. So it's safe to say that our emotions, or how we're feeling per time, can cause our judgment to be flawed. Now, I know that Nigerians, like everyone else, are constantly making decisions, whether it's in our personal lives, our careers, or even at the market, when you're trying to haggle down the price of tomatoes, for example. Our emotional state at any given time plays a huge role in how we make those decisions. Let's say you're in a good mood. Maybe you've just had a nice meal and someone offers you a business deal. You're more likely to see the positives. You're more likely to focus on the opportunities and think about the long-term benefits. On the flip side, if you're stressed out, maybe you've been stuck in traffic for hours, or you've just received the bad news, or something really messed up has happened, the same business deal could look risky or like too much effort. It's the same opportunity, but your emotions shape your response. Have you ever made a decision when you were upset and then regretted it later? Well, that's because emotions cloud your judgment and influence how you interpret the situation right in front of you. I think we've all been there, scrolling through social media, minding our business, and then suddenly we come across something that either makes us really happy or completely ruins our mood. Now, social media is a huge space where our emotions are constantly being manipulated, whether we realize it or not. Everything is just in our faces that it starts to shape how we feel and how we think. Let me give you a classic scenario. You wake up in the morning feeling awesome. You're having your coffee, your tea, whatever. You're scrolling through Instagram. And then you see a post of someone living what seems like the perfect life. Maybe they've just bought a new car, or they're on, say, maybe a vacay with bae. Suddenly your mood just shifts. You start feeling inadequate, like you're not achieving enough. But is that really true? No. That's just your emotions taking over your rational thought. And social media is like an emotional roller coaster. And if we're not careful, it can distort our perceptions about our own lives, making us think that we're not where we should be, when in reality, we're all on different journeys. I got in a conversation recently, an argument at first, with some friends of mine, and we discussed the lives that celebrities on Instagram lead. And it was just diverse perception or diverse opinion on that matter. But truth is, it is social media. Many things we see on there are things that have been put together for us to actually see. So yeah. Now let's bring it back home once again. Emotions play a big role in how we perceive things, especially in our social interactions. And here we often make judgments based on how we're feeling at the moment. Think about it. How often have you felt like someone was rude just because you were already having a bad day? Or you thought maybe someone was nicer than they actually were just because you were in a good mood? I remember one time when I was at a meeting and someone made a comment that on a normal day would not have bothered me. But I was very stressed out that day. So I took it personally and it almost ruined my day. But later when I was calmer, I realized I completely overreacted because of my emotions, the way I felt before that occurrence. Here in this part of the world, where we deal with so much or so many challenges, better put, whether it's the hustle of making ends meet, the frustrations of dealing with power outages, or the grind of life, our emotions are constantly tested. And because of that, we might not always see situations as they truly are. I recently attended a conference tagged Sell by Design, hosted by Emmanuel Perez. And during one of the sessions, he spoke about fear and excitement. He mentioned that the physiological reactions to both emotions are really the same. Think about it. When you're scared, your heart is racing. Your palms are sweaty, you're getting itchies in a couple of places. For some people, your tummy starts to turn. When you're excited, your heart is mostly racing. If you normally get sweaty palms, you also have that. And then your body is just doing its thing, just the same way it does when you're scared. The difference is just the environment and the initiating factor. Now, what this really means is that studying and managing our emotions is one way to improve the ability to identify and understand errors of judgment and choice. It means that for every time you felt angry and you've done something, you had a choice, but you chose the one that you did. What this means is when you see a thing or when somebody speaks to you a type of way, you have a choice to either react positively or respond negatively. So how do we prevent our emotions from distorting reality? The first tip I'll share is that you pause before reacting. Listen, when you feel a strong emotional reaction coming on, whether it's anger, frustration, or even excitement, take a moment to pause. If you want to count to 10, please go ahead. Breathe. Give yourself time to process what's happening before you respond. This simple act of pausing, I call it that, can prevent a lot of misinterpretation. The second tip I'll share is that you keep a journal, because sometimes writing down how you feel can help you see things more clearly. When you take things down, you allow your emotions to come out, and this can help you better understand why you're feeling a certain way. Number 3, talk it out. I've noticed that this one works for me a lot, especially with people that are close to me. I've also recently started trying this out with people that are not necessarily in my space or in my circle. I try to talk things out, and it's working. Share your feelings with someone you trust. It helps. Just hearing your thoughts out loud can make you realize whether your emotions are clouding your perception. So I have a few people I do this with. If I'm feeling the type of way, I'm messaging them to let them know how I feel, and I'm asking them what they think about it. That's me. So I told a friend recently as we drove home, I said, one of the very great ways to see things is to come out of yourself for a second and look at yourself from outside, and then get back into yourself, and then let yourself analyze everything that's happened. So when you talk out some things, you're able to do that because you're seeing things from the other person's point of view. Look at us, we're big on family and community, so don't be afraid to lean on that support system. Your friends, your family members, your church community, people that you trust, your confidants, anyone that you think actually fits into that position to let you see objectively.
Deep or Nothing with Miss Daisy O.
The very last tip I'll be sharing is that you ask yourself, is this really true? Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed by an emotion, try asking yourself, is this really true? For example, if you're feeling inadequate because of something you saw on social media, ask yourself if that feeling is based on fact or just your emotional interpretation. So fact is a thing, your emotions also are a thing. All of this is me saying that emotions have, or they play a significant role in shaping how we see the world. While they can help us experience life more deeply, they can also distort our perceptions if we're not mindful. Whether it's in our personal relationships, our careers, or even our day-to-day interactions, being aware of how emotions influence us is that key to finding balance and clarity. I mean this with all the right intention. I know you might think or you might say it's easier said than done. Yes, it's easier said than done. But guess what? It's also doable, right? Having to always ask yourself questions about your feelings or your emotions helps you to better see how to proceed. If you feel a type of way and you're asking yourself, okay, I feel this way, why do I feel like this? Emotions as simple as a poor mood have actually caused people to lose very vital relationships. A poor weather has caused people to get on people's toe because you're just hot, and it's just a very hot weather condition. The atmosphere is just uncomfortable. People have snapped for reasons as subtle as this. So I feel like if we pay more attention and we're telling ourselves the truth, because many of us just don't tell ourselves the truth about situations. Finding balance, finding clarity is what we should aim for. When you're aware of how your emotion influences you, you find that clarity and you find that balance. I think I'll just stop here for today. So yeah, if this topic resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's an example of a time when your emotions completely changed the way you saw a situation? Share your thoughts in the comment section. I think it's okay to say thank you. I'm so blessed to have you listen to this podcast every other time. And if you're listening for the very first time, this is your first episode, I will advise that you listen to other episodes. It's a beautiful community to be in. You know, I go back to listen to other podcasts and I'm blessed myself. I learn something new every other time. So yeah, thank you for joining this community. If you want to be closer to us, how about you just click on that link in the description and it will take you to the WhatsApp community. Be there, see us share lots of lovely stuff. And yes, do not forget to share with your friends, share across your social media platforms, rate the podcast, follow if you haven't followed, and let's keep on diving deep. Until next time, remember, deep thinking isn't just about the mind, it's about understanding the heart as well. So stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay deep. Catch you next time.
Explore the art of deep thinking with Miss Daisy O.